Hello everyone, welcome back to Medical Coding Club. This is Chandrika. So today I am going to discuss an important 2026 update related to HCPCS code G0136, and this is very important or the something many providers and coders are still misunderstanding. Okay, so this code has changed its descriptor and not just in wording but also the total focus itself. Okay, so in this video I'll explain what was the earlier description and what's new for 2026 description, and why you must focus on particular code to avoid denials. Okay, so we are seeing more denials as well, I mean the escalations. So I wanted to give more clarity on this. So if you can see, the first one is the, if you see here, the earlier descriptor says which is 2025, which is before Jan 2026. Okay, it says administration of standardized evidence based social determinants of health risk assessment tool, 5 to 15 minutes. Okay, this was the earlier description of the code G0136, but later effective from Jan 1 2026, now the description says administration of standardized evidence based assessment of physical activity and nutrition, 5 to 15 minutes and not more often than every 6 months. Okay, so here this area includes maybe, as you already know, social determinants of health means it might be related to housing problems, or maybe food insecurity, transportation issues, financial challenges, unemployment. Okay, social support limitation. So if you have learned medical decision making under risk table, we do have social determinants of health. Okay, the health limited by social determinant of health, and also under ICD code we do have code for many types of social determinants of health. Z codes are available. Now the current descriptor is focusing on administration of standardized evidence based on assessment of physical activity and nutrition. So this is the major change here. So earlier focus is only related to social determinant of health. Now the main focus is not related to social determinant of health. Instead, physical activity level, maybe the patient exercise habits or dietary patterns, okay, and mainly nutrition risk. So this is now more about lifestyle focused instead of social risk focused. Okay, so like that's the big conceptual change that we can say here. And also the next thing that we are going to see is about the frequency. Okay, frequency. So if you see here, new frequency limit added. So as we saw in the description was saying G0136 can be limited not more often once every 6 months. Okay, so that means this G0136 HCPCS code can only build once in every 6 months. Okay, so if you bill on January, then from January to next 6 months you should not bill G0136 for the same patient. Okay, this is an important rule. Next we do have like where to focus. So after this change there are four major areas that we have to focus. The focus one is always, as I said, you must focus on the limited period, like has 6 months has passed since the last G0136, you must verify with the patient visit history, and then only you should proceed to bill with the code G0136. Okay, if it is not 6 months, maybe 4 or 5 months, then better you should not bill it. Not better, you should not bill it. Okay, so this is one most common concern that we are seeing. So next one, used for standardized assessment. Okay, so the provider must always, the documentation clearly shows name of the assessment tool and also the evidence based. Okay, patient response and provider review, everything should be documented clearly here. So if you take an example documentation, so the provider must say the physical activity level and the nutrition habits of the patient, and wherever the risk areas are being identified, the provider must document it in medical record. Okay, So next, the area that you have to focus is commonly billed annual wellness visit. So we already know about G0438 and G0439 that we bill for Medicare payers, the annual wellness visits. So with that, if G0136 may be reported on the same day as G0438 for initial annual wellness visit, or G0439 subsequent annual wellness visit when the assessment is performed. Okay, so we can utilize G0136 also additionally if we have the sufficient documentation regarding the physical activity and the nutrition screening. Then the important thing is modifier usage. Modifier 33 is required with AWV, that is annual wellness visit. So here, when we are going to bill annual wellness visit, we must use modifier 33, which will be appended to G0136. Okay, to waive the patient's copayment and deductible. So this is again very important, and it's a very important billing detail. Okay, so that patient copay can be waived off. Then cost sharing applies with ENM services, evaluation and management services. So this is again important. Okay, so if we bill, say for example, ENM services or maybe behavioral health service, it can be there. So then patient may have a cost sharing. Okay, we can always inform the patients beforehand, and also you can see here the important thing is either ENM service or behavioral health service. So whatever the service that patient is taking that time, so make sure that provider is informing the patient before the hand. Okay, this is an important rule. So then coming to the final summary, so we always check the time, 5 to 15 minutes time criteria, and also mainly now a new rule which we have to focus on: physical activity and the nutrition. Okay, and coming to limited period, then know that G0136 can be billed only once in a 6 month. Okay, so this is important. So these are all the important updates that all providers and coders or maybe auditors or maybe billing team should be aware of. Okay, or whoever works only on the Medicare aspect or only on the annual wellness visit, these are the updates are very important. Okay, so I hope this video was useful for you, and if you are subscribed to my channel on only on the CPC related stuff, you may not find it useful. I am totally aware of it, but as an industry, being in industry, I should also aware that what are the things that currently going on, the escalations or maybe the rejections, denials. So for that point of view also I should see, and I should also start doing videos on this. Okay, so yes, and my recent provider education was successful, and I have received a lot of good feedback on the presentation, and I truly appreciate that. And then if you are looking for any provider education or maybe corporate training related to CPC or the customized training on any particular subject, you can reach me out through my WhatsApp number, or maybe you can visit my website and you can book your service. So thank you all. Thank you for watching today's video.